Hello, my name is Chima from GoGetterXL. Today, I'm going to be teaching you how to make an Excel calendar from scratch that is going to be dynamic, such that you will see features like this having a colored cell highlighting today's date. Now, if you look at the down part of it, you're going to be seeing today's date, November 26, 2022. It's a Saturday, and this is the time, 2:20 p.m. Now, this is dynamic in the sense that if I move to the next day by adding a plus one here, everything changes. The date is 27, changes to Sunday, the highlighted cell moves to the next day. If I were to do this 1 week from today, is going to take us to December, December 3rd. And that's how dynamic it is. So that when you open your Excel calendar, it's going to show you the exact date, the day, and the current time. All right, so let's see how we can do this from the scratch. Now I'm going to open a new workbook so that we can use a blank workbook to work this. Now we are on a blank workbook. Let's arrange this. So I will make my format. All right, let's start from here. I need to format my cells in such a way that I want to use it. Okay, so let me begin by writing the week number. Week number. Okay, this week number, it's week one, week two, week three, week four, week five. Sometimes we can get week six. Yeah, so in a typical month, there are 6 rows making up week six. I can as well write one, two, three, four. No, but I don't want to do that. I want to use a an Excel formula to arrange it. So before I go on, let me let you know that you'll be learning some Excel formulas or functions that is used in creating this calendar. All right, some of the functions you are going to be seeing here is the sequence function. The sequence function, we'll talk about that. You will see the date function. You will see the time functions. You will also see conditional formatting, conditional formatting. Then you will see the lookup function. So these are some of the functions you are going to be learning as a result of creating this calendar. Now, if you don't have a basic knowledge of these functions, this is a good time to learn this function as we create the calendar. But rest assured that I will give you separate videos on how we can do each of these functions so that you can get deeper knowledge of this. So now let's go back to our week number. We are going to be using the sequence. So what does the sequence function do? So we type our sequence. Now it says returns a sequence of numbers. So a sequence of numbers is numbers that follows a particular behavior. For example, your streets are arranged in odd numbers, even numbers. That's a sequence. 2, 4, 6, 8, 1, 3, 5, 7. Or even your natural numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They are all sequence. So let's see what we are going to do here. Sequence. How many rows do I need? Because that's the first argument. The first argument asks for the number of rows. Now, this week number I want to arrange them in rows. How many rows do I need? I need week 1 to week 6. So I need 6 rows. That's fine. The next argument, I have to separate it with a comma to get to the next argument. Now, if I skip this, it's possible I can skip it because it is in square bracket. All those things in square bracket can be skipped. So in case I don't do that, I just put my closing parenthesis. It's going to assume that my column is 1, and it's also going to assume that I'm going to start from 1 and I'm going to increase by 1. That is what my start and step button is. So let me just try that and let's see. Wow, it gave me what I want, 1 to 6. All right, so let me do it the other way. I say sequence. Sorry, let me cancel out what I did before. Right, sequence. I go with how many rows do I need? The first argument, I need 6 rows. How many columns? I want them to be on a single column. So I take 1 as my single column. Then what's my start number? I want to start from 1. So I do 1 here. I also want to increase the step by 1. And I close. That's it. All right. So I think I may need to do this again so that it will be so big for you to see. Start again. Sorry. Let me increase it and delete what I've just done. All right. So I'll do it again. This is the sequence, right? My rows is 6. My column is 1. My start is 1. My step is 1. Close it, hit the enter button. I have what I need. So what will I do now? I would put all of these in center. I will make them bold. This is my week number. I'm going to gray them out because this will not form part of my calendar. So just going to gray them out. These are not part of my calendar. All right, the next thing to do is to create my calendar heading. So I will have to put Sunday. I want my calendar to start from a Sunday. If you like, you can make yours to start from a Monday. All right, I want it to start from Sunday. I want to put it in center, bold them. All right, you can as well write the full Sunday, but I like the 3-letter word. Now, Excel knows that when you put Sunday, Excel has inbuilt list so that when I drag this thing to the right, it assumes that I want to bring those lists. So the next one is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Excel understands that. So Excel drags and provides the list and also copied the format. All right, so I'm going to give it this color. So this is my color. All right, the next thing I'm going to do here is for me to create my month, the month I refer to, and I'm going to do that in a moment. But before I do that, let me populate some of the numbers that I'm going to be putting in this rectangle space. Now, I'm going to be using the sequence formula again to populate numbers from Sunday and from row 1 down to row 6. Now, what will I do? I'll go back again to the sequence formula. Sequence, right? How many rows do I need? Like the week number which we did previously, I need 6 rows. That's fine. How many columns do I need? Unlike the week number that everything was put in one column, here, I need them to be dispersed to fill in the 7 columns from Sunday to Saturday. So I need 7 columns. So it's going to give me 6 rows, 7 columns. So 7 times 6 is going to be 42 numbers. 42 numbers are going to appear here all at once. So my start, my start number, I want it to be 1. For the meantime, let's use 1, and my step is going to be 1. So that's fine. Close the parenthesis, and watch when I press the enter button, the 42 numbers will be displayed. 42 numbers from 1 down to 42. That's fine. Okay, for the meantime, I'm going to highlight them. I'm going to put them in a thick border. I'm also going to do this one again in a thick border, and also do this one separately in a thick border. So I have the structure of my calendar all set. So what else do we need to do? All right, so what do we do now? Let's look at something. I want my date to be displaying here. I want my date to display here. I want the day to display here, and I want the time to display here. So how do I achieve that? Now, I'm going to teach you a date function. So the first date function we're going to be looking at is today. We're going to be looking at today. So what is today? We can either use today or we can use now. I prefer to use today in this example. So today will returns the correct date formatted as a date. So I'm going to put today, open parenthesis, close the parenthesis, hit the enter button. It gives me today's date. If you look at it here, it's showing me 26th of uh, November. If I increase this thing, you're going to see it clearly. Now, this is showing me the month first before the date and the year. I'm going to format it in the United Kingdom way, where it will show me the day before the month and the date. So I'm going to press Control 1. Control 1 will bring the format cell dialog box. I'm going to look at number. I'm going to go to date. I will choose United Kingdom. And if I look at the sample, this is what I'm getting, United Kingdom. It shows me that currently I'm having 11, which is in November. November is first there. If I click this one now, it changes. 26, the date is showing 26 first, the month is showing next, and the day. That is exactly how I want it. So I will click it here, and it gives me what I want. Oh, I don't want the year to change. I want the year to be written in full. Let me use the second option. Yes, so the year is written in full. Now let me bold this and give it um, a different color. Okay, let me give it this color. That's fine. I can increase the font size to 12. Okay, that's fine. Now, what about the day? Okay, now for me to do the day, there is I want it to be either a Sunday or Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday. So there is a formula called weekday. Weekday returns a number from 1 to 7, displaying the day of the week of a date. So now let's look at the weekday. open a bracket, I want a serial number. I have to tell you that a date is a serial number. A date is a serial number. So I will need to take today's date as a serial number. I'll open a parenthesis, I'll put a comma, then I'll look at the return type. Should I return it as starting from Sunday to Saturday? That's the first option. Or from Monday to Sunday, or from Monday to Saturday, or from Mondays through Sundays. There are different options. I'm going to take one, Sunday to Saturday. That's my return type. And I close the parenthesis. When I hit it here, I am getting 7. Wow. Why am I getting 7? This is because this is 7. Okay. The weekday of B11 happened to be 7. This serial number. All right. So let's look at it again. Weekday, day, B11. Right. It's going to give me 5. So why is it 5? This is because this 26 here is on the 5th day of the week. So if you look at it here, Sunday is the first day of the week, second day of the week is Monday, third day of the week is Tuesday, Wednesday the fourth day of the week, Thursday is the fifth day of the week. So for now, suffice it to say that this date is on the fifth day of the week. We are going to fix it, but for now, let's leave it like that. But I don't want 5 to be returned. What I want to be returned is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So I'm going to do something else. I'm going to teach you the lookup function. Now, the lookup value, we're going to do something now on lookup. So let's create a lookup table here. This is going to be um, weekday number. We make it weekday number. Then this is weekday. All right. So how many days in a week do we have? There are 7 days in a week. So let's start sequence. So you'll be used to the sequence. Number of rows, I want 7 rows. Column, I don't want column. Everything, step 1 starts with 1. Let me use this. It gives me 7. That's fine. Now, the weekday, I want to start from Sunday and put it in full. Now, let me put it in full. I double click. It gives me the required weekday. All right. So let me give this a color. All right. So this is my week number and this is my weekday. So what I will now do is to use the lookup function. So whenever I see 5, it should return the corresponding weekday that has to do with 5. So what I will do now is let's use here to do our lookup function. So we're going to look at it this way. If we come here, X lookup. Let me start with VLOOKUP because most of us who do not have Excel 365 will want to use the VLOOKUP. So let's look at VLOOKUP. VLOOKUP, okay? What am I looking up? I'm looking up what value because that's the first argument. Look up this value called 5, which is in B12. Give a comma, the table array. What table am I looking at? The table array is going to be this whole table except for the headers. This is the table array, and I'm going to lock them in absolute terms. So I'm going to use F4. The key F4 makes your numbers from relative referencing to absolute referencing. So I've locked them with the dollar sign. All right. So this is the table array. Now, the essence of this VLOOKUP is that the number you are looking for, which is 5 here, must correspond to the first column of your table. Otherwise, VLOOKUP will not work. So if this weekday was in column L and week number was in column M, it's not going to work. So your first column, whenever you are doing VLOOKUP, must contain the lookup value. So we are looking for 5 and we are going to see 5 here. So after doing this, we are going to put a comma. Your column index. Your column index refers to the column that will be returned. So if it searches for 5 and it sees 5, it should return Thursday. That is what we are asking it to return. So column index number. So if column L is our lookup number, which is 1, column M, the return value column should be 2. So I'll just put a 2 here, and I'll look at range lookup. I want to look for exact match, not approximate match. So I will come here, exact match, which is false, and I will close the bracket, hit enter, and I get a Thursday here. That's what I want. So, but I want to put them into just this place here. So what I will do here is, did you see this B12? This B12, I will take this formula here without the equal to, I'll copy it. I will go to this formula here. In place of B12, that number I copied, I will delete B12 and I will paste it. I will still get the same Thursday. So it means that I can still get rid of this and it will have no effect. I will now take this formula, copy everything, and bring it back to this place and paste it there. So fine, can get rid of this. So that's it. We can as well do the whole thing from here. We can as well do the whole thing from here. So let me show you how to do it from here. Let me delete this. We start with, we want to um, look up, V lookup. All right. What are we looking for? Our lookup value. We want to get 5. Okay, so how do we get the 5? Okay, what we did was we now apply our weekday. Weekday, open a bracket. The serial number we use was the day for today's date. Let me fix this with F4. Close the bracket. That's the serial number. Return type is Sunday through Saturday. That's it. We close the bracket. This is our lookup value. Open another part and take a comma. Our table array, go back to our table like we did before. This is the full table. We lock it with F4. That's fine. The return column index number, we said it was 2. So we write a comma. Our match, or range lookup should be exact match, which is false. We close the table, we close the function, and we hit enter, and it gives us Thursday. That's fine. Let's give it this. All right. Then the time function. We're going to use something called the now function. The now function works like today, only that for now, it's going to give you both the date and the time. So if you look at it, it gives me the date and the time. Okay, I don't want this to be showing me date and time. I want to display only the time. So I will do Control 1 to bring out the format cell. I will go to time. I will use the United Kingdom time. I want it to display like this. I don't want the 24-hour time. I want it to display 1:30 and 35 like that. That's the sample. That's the example here, the type. If you look at the sample, this is what I can get here. If I click OK, it gives me the time that is existing right now. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I will give it another color. Let me give it this color. All right, so I want all of these to be aligned right. I also want this to shrink a little so that I will not take too much space. All right, we have done this. All right, now did you see here that in our workings we did weekday number as um, weekday number as a working. All right, so let's do another thing. Let's do something called the month number, just like we did for the weekday, and this is month. We are going to be needing things like this as we work. So we want to display month January to December. I will use the sequence function again. Okay, let me take this down so that you will see it when it displays. I have the sequence function and I want 12 rows. That's all I need. 12 rows, and it returns 12 for me. And I want January, okay, and I press down, gives me the January to December. All right, I need these workings. So let's give this like this. All right, we are now set. So I will want to give this a heading. This is Go Getter Excel Calendar. Right? Now, I want them to be spread across. So I'll come and give my Control 1 to format my cells. I'll go to Align. Horizontal alignment, yes. I will center across selection and I will hit the OK button. It has now been neatly centralized. I can increase the font now to 18. That's good. Make it bold. That's fine. This is our nice calendar. Then I can put the month and the date that we are going to be using. So I want it to be done dynamically. We are in November and I want November to be shown here. And so there is this function called the month function. So let's use the month function. We are going to say equal to month, open a bracket, serial number. So what's the serial number we've been using all through this our calculation? We'll be using today's date. So what it's going to do here is if I put today's date as a serial number and I lock it, it's going to, you know, it's going to extract the month from the date. It's going to extract the month from the date. And now if I close this, it's going to give me 11. See, it's extracted the 11 from the date. Now, I don't want to be seeing 11. All I need to be seeing is November. Whenever it shows me 11, let it display November. If it shows me 12, let it display December. So once again, I'm going to use the lookup function and I'm going to replace it. So I'll come here and I will say V lookup, lookup, yes, open a bracket. It asked for lookup value as the first option, the first argument. This month function we did is our lookup value. Remember, we were looking for 11. All right? We are looking for 11. All right. So we put a comma, we've done the lookup value. Our table array will now be the second table we created. So the table array we created is going to be this. Okay, and I will lock it. That's fine. Now the column index number to return, we want it to return the second column. So we put 2, index range lookup, I'm going to use false, okay, which is exact match. So I'm going to hit enter and I get November. All right. I can make it full, centralize it, bring my format cell with control 1, alignment, horizontal alignment, center across, hit OK, that's fine. I'm going to increase the font to 14. That's beautiful, beautiful. I'm going to give it this font type, this font color. All right. I'm also going to put dates in a border, a tick border. That's fine. This is November. But a calendar is not complete without the year. Without the year. So we're going to put November 2022. And we want it to be written dynamically so that when it gets to January, it will become January 2023. If you get to December, it's still December 2022. So there is something called the year function. Now, we're going to be combining the month function with the year function together to get this. So we're going to do something called, we're going to use something called the AND function, or we call it ampersand, the ampersand sign. So we come here, after the month function has been done, we use the ampersand sign and we put AND. Now, if I immediately do the year function, okay, let's say I decide to do it like this, 2022. This is hard coding it. This is hard coding it. It's going to be joined together. But I want it to be separated, 2022. But this is not dynamic. So you see, I use the AND function here and I put a space. I want the date to occur automatically. So what I will do here, I'll close this ampersand, I'll close the first inverted, the first quotation mark. After the space, I'll close that quotation mark. Then instead of 2022 being written as a number, I'm going to use a dynamic number. So let's start all over again. This is how it was before. November. I'll come down here. I'll put my and symbol. and I'll put a quotation, opening quotation mark. All I want is to put a space. I put in the space. I put a quotation mark. What I've just done is to achieve a space. I will put the and again, and I will now use the year function. I will now say year. It asks for a serial number. Of course, the serial number is this today's date. So what it's going to do here, let me lock it with F4. What it's going to do here is it's going to extract the year from today's date. And if I close the parenthesis, hit enter button, it gives me November 2022. Now that's fine. So we've done basically most of the things that is needed here. Most of the things that is needed here. Now, the only thing remaining is we want to solve um, this puzzle. The first day of November is not a Sunday, and we don't want this extra dates 31 to 42. So let's first of all solve this puzzle. What is the first day of November? We can know that by using this function. Let's call it weekday function. Let's know the day of the week that November 1 falls. So let's do it this way. I will give you two date function. Okay, let's do another workings here. All right, so let's come here and call this one today's date. Okay, let this be my today's date. And what's my today's date? My today's date is um I've already okay, I will say today. That's fine. And I can also refer today. I can also be referring this. Okay, so I can come here instead of writing this, since I've already written it somewhere. I will go equal to, and I will make reference to this. That's fine. So this is my today's date. That's fine. And it is not formatted the way I want. So what I will do now is I will take this format, and I've copied it. I will now do Control Alt V, not Control V, which is paste. Control Alt V to paste special. I will now be pasting just the format. You see, it gives me today's date. All right. Now, this is the next thing, start of month date. Start of month date. Which date is the start of month? Let me copy this format. Sorry, let me copy this format here. Control Alt V, format. Which date is the start of month? I will also create end of month date. Okay. Which date is the end of month? Let me still copy this format here and bring it down here. Alt, Control Alt V, paste only the format. That's fine. So now this is the way to get our start of month. We cannot easily get our start of month because there is no function for start of month. But we can easily get our end of month. So let's start with the end of month. There's an Excel function called EO month. EO month means end of month. Okay. Look at it, it returns the serial number of the last day of the month before or after a specified number of months. So let's see the arguments involved. Open a bracket, a start date. We want to use our today's date as the start date. This is what we have been using as our reference. So I can either use this because this is referencing the start date we have. I can just say this one here is our start date. Let me fix it with F4. And now we want to do number of months. Now, because we want to stay in the same month as our today's date, we are going to use 0. If I use 0 and I close the bracket, hit enter button, it gives me 30th November 2022, which is correct, meaning that with reference to today's date, the end of month in month number 11 is 30th. Now, if I were to use, in place of 0, I now use 1, it means number of months in reference to that start date. 1 month, it means you are going to the next month. So just watch. If I hit the enter button, it tells me that in reference to today's date, the end of month date, which is 1 month from today, is going to be 31st of December. The same thing now, if I were to use -1, it's going to take me 1 month earlier. It's going to give you my October 31st of October, meaning that in reference to today's date, check 30 days or 1 month earlier, the end of the month 1 month earlier is going to be 31st of October. So now let's go back to what we need for here, which is today's date. Today, this month, so I'll put 0 here. It gives me the end of month date is 30th of November. We are going to use this workings. Now, how do we get the start of month? We are going to use the end of month formula to get the start of month. So just watch. What I'm going to do here is end of month, but we want to get the start of month. We're using the end of month formula. Open a bracket. Our start date is still today's date. Now, you'll be asking, why are we using today's date? Because it is dynamic. If it gets to the next day, everything changes. All the formula we've done changes dynamically. So that's why we're using today's date. All right, so start date is today's date. Month, of course, we're not going to be using today's date. We're not going to be using this month. So the trick is you need to use last month so that it will return. Last month is -1. We close the bracket, but don't press enter yet. If you press enter at this point, let me press it and see, it's going to give you the last day of last month. So the trick is the last day of last month, if you add 1 to it, it's going to give you the start date of this month. So all I'll need to do after the bracket, I'll just say +1. It's going to give you the start date of this month. So you see it here, 1st of uh, November 2022 is the start date of this month. So this is how you get your start date of the month. So now, having this in mind, let's look out for the weekday of the first day of the month. Let's look at it now. Let's look at the weekday. Use the weekday formula. Weekday formula. Serial number is our start date. Yes. Let me fix it. F4. Return type. Let's return from Sunday to Saturday and we hit enter. 3, meaning that Sunday is 1, Monday is 2, Tuesday is 3, meaning that the 1st of November should be 3. The third, the 1st of November should fall on Tuesday, which is the third day of the week. So our first should be here and not Sunday. So how do we fix it? Now remember, when we created this number, it was done dynamically. If you look at second, it is grayed out here. Third is grayed out here. Every number is grayed out here except the first number, because this is where the sequence number started. So anything we are going to do now, we are going to be using the sequence formula. So what do we do? How do we achieve a 1 here? Okay, so what we do is, the key is, look at your sequence formula again. Sequence. We wanted 6, sorry, sequence. We wanted 6 rows. We wanted 7 column. Our start date was 1, and we want to increase by 1. Every other thing is okay except the start date, the start number. We don't want the start number to be 1. We don't want the start number to be 1. Okay? So if Tuesday should be 1, if Tuesday should be 1, Monday should be 0, isn't it? Then Sunday should have been what? -1. So assuming I put -1 here, it worked. Tuesday is now 1. But the problem with this is not dynamic, in the sense that if you look at um 1st of December, 1st of December is never going to be a Tuesday. 1st of December will be Thursday. Now assuming we want to get to 1st of December, let's say we added 5 days to this December. This is now giving us 1st of December. It's still telling us that 1st of December, of course, here I've changed dynamically. December 2022 is showing here, but it's still telling you that the first day is still 1. So we don't want to be coming back every beginning of the month to change the first day. So we're going to be doing it dynamically. So what do we need to do? What do we need to do? So we don't need to hard code this with -1. So what we need to do is, we need something that's going to be dynamically changing, and it's something that will be changing dynamically, so that we are going to achieve that. So we want our start date to be the start date of the month. So look at what we're going to do. Um, our minus will still be there, but in place of 1, what do? We will say weekday. The weekday function we want to use, weekday, open a bracket. The serial number should be the start date of the month. All right? The serial number should be the start date of the month. I'm going to fix it. That's fine. Then the return type is going to be Monday through Sunday. Okay? Then that's your start date. But watch, when I click enter, it's not going to work. So you see here, it now tells you that Thursday is now 1. Sunday is now -3. We want this one to move back to 2, to Tuesday. So what we'll just do here, we've used minus, we'll just come here. This is the only place we're going to hard code. Before we get to step, you will now say +2. So it's going to move front 2 step forward, and that will solve the problem. Very good. So Tuesday is the first day of November. Now, assuming I want to check the first day of December, I've added +5. Thursday is the first day of December. Okay, let me add more 31 days. All right, January 1 is going to give me a Sunday. That's fine. This is working. This is working. So that's what we need, is changing dynamically. All right, so let's even see what February will be. Let me add another 31 days. February is going to be a Wednesday. Beautiful. It's working. So let's go and delete all of these, leaving today's date. Fine. Now the next thing to do, okay, we can get rid of this weekday number. We don't need it anymore. We have solved our problem. So is this showing us here that Thursday is 26th? Meanwhile, it's supposed to be a Saturday. Okay, so what could be the problem? Our lookup function, so we need to redo what we did here so that we will get back the right number. So we'll come here and we'll say equal to VLOOKUP. Okay, what is our lookup value? Our lookup value should be the day function, serial number, base, lock it, close it, table. So table, the day function. So wait a minute, let's get back. Okay, it's weekday. All right, so start again. VLOOKUP, by looking for the weekday of serial number. The weekday is that we are looking for is today, which is day, serial number, lock it with F4, close it, return type, Monday, Sunday through Saturday. This is our lookup number. Table array is this table here. Lock it with F4. Then our return column is 2. Range lookup should be exact match. Close it. It's still giving us Thursday. 26 should not be giving us a Thursday. Okay, we'll come back to that. Let's do something here. Weekday, what serial number is 26th? 5. Okay, it's telling us 5 in relation to where this starts. Okay, we're going to fix it. So, not to worry. Let's leave that. We're going to come back and fix it. All right, so this minus and plus and zeros, we want to remove them. So, what do we do? Okay, we're going to be looking at conditional formatting. Now, in conditional formatting, we are going to be looking at what happens here. Anything that happens here, we are going to move it across this table. So let's do something like this. We're going to say anything that is lesser than 1 is what we're after. So we'll say we're going to test this first number. If C4 is lesser than, instead of saying 1, lesser than the start date of the month. Lesser than start date. So I will not click here. I will say day, open a bracket, is serial number. Right? Is it true or false? It is true. If I move it across here, it's going to be true here. If I move it across here, it's going to be false. So for all we know, we're going to be looking at just what happens to this first number. Then we're going to take this with the equal to sign and copy it and go highlight the row and the column. Then we'll go to conditional formatting, go to new rules, use a formula to determine which cells to format, and I'll paste it. Okay, so what it means now is I've copied the formula for the conditional formatting and I will now format it. I don't want to color them, I want them to disappear. So I'll go to number, I'll go to number, I'll go to general. Okay, no, it's custom or special. No, it's custom. All I will need to do is to remove this general and I will type semicolon 3 times. Semicolon. So what when Excel sees this semicolon, it tells Excel that it should hide all the numbers that satisfy this condition. All the numbers that is supposed to return true to that condition, Excel should hide them. So I will click OK and I'll come here, click OK, and these two numbers are gone. So that's fine. Two numbers are gone. Now the next thing to do is I want to remove all of these that are not necessary. Once again, conditional formatting, which we will start using the first cell, equal to C4 is going to be greater than the end of month date. Anything greater than the end of month date. So I'll say day, end of month. Let me fix it. Of course, this is less than. It's not going to be greater, but if I had to drag the formula down, you find out that, let me do that. I have to drag it here. All these are false. So I drag them down. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Control D, bring them down. See, some of them are true, 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 true. So those ones that are true, 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 true are going to disappear. But of course, I'm only going to use this first one to do the conditional formatting. So I'll copy it again and I will go to the whole cell, conditional formatting, that's it here, manage rules. Okay, I will come here, new rule, use a formula and I will paste it. And format, I go to number, custom. In place of general, I will do my three semicolon. Look at sample, there's nothing here, meaning it's going to hide them or mask them. Now, when it masks them, it doesn't mean that the numbers are no longer there. They are just hidden. So it's going to be masked. So it means here that if I change here to 20, so 16th of December gives me a Monday. 16th of December here, okay? That's what it's telling me here. There is a 31 here in December. It shows us here. Look at where the first is here. So all these unknown numbers are masked. If I were to go 20 more days, you see, January starts from Sunday, changes dynamically. All right, so that's it. Now the next thing to do is I want to highlight today's date so that when I look at the calendar, instead of me looking at this place, I look at the calendar. It's easy for me to know the current date. Once again, I'm going to use conditional formatting. So what will I use the conditional formatting to do? What will I do with that now? I will say everything relates to the first cell equal to this cell. So we're not going to be using greater than or less than. We are not going to compare this cell with today's date. So we are saying this cell, is it equal to day, open a bracket, this date? Or instead of me using this one here, I can still come here. Since they are linked, I can come here and lock it and I will say okay. Of course it's false. Now, unlike the others where I had the first condition, I had two true, and the second one where I had about one, two, three, 10 truths. Here I'm going to get only one true. So if you look at it, if I copy them here, Control arrow to bring them to the right side, bring them down, and I press Control D, I'm only going to get one true, which is this. The whole every other thing is going to give me false because there's only one today's date. So I'm now still going to use this condition now to format these cells. Come down here, now go to conditional formatting, manage rules, new rules. Use a formula to determine which cell to format. I'll put copy and paste it, go to format. Now, in this format, I'm not going to be hiding anything. So I'm not going to be using the three semicolon because I don't want to hide today's date. So my formatting is going to be in the form of color. So I'm going to go to let's go to font. It's going to be automatic. I can also make it bold and italic. I can give it um, bold and italic. Let me come down here to fill. I can use this. I can give it this color. Okay, let me give it something light. And okay, let me still use this. And I will say okay. And I will say okay. Apply okay. So you see here, it has applied it to 26. So I can get rid of this now. Okay, so if I increase it by 1 day, changes to 27. If I increase it by maybe 2 days more, changes to 29. So it's dynamically moving. All right, so we have practically done everything. So what is now remaining is to fix this. Hmm. So let's see. Let's try something. Week A, weekday of Tuesday, the first day of the month. We said it was 3. And we said lookup, V lookup, lookup value is this, table array is this, return array 2 and false. Gives me Tuesday. So why is this not giving me what I want? Okay, all right. So what I would do now is another VLOOKUP. Let's try this. Um, weekday of this date. Return type. Okay, hold on a moment. When we did this weekday, there was no return type. Okay, let's come back again. Let me clear formats. All right. Let me clear contents. Let me clear all. All right. I'll come back here. What is the weekday for this date? I get 7. The weekday gave me 7. I will come back here. VLOOKUP, open a bracket. My lookup value is 7. My table array is going to give me this. Fix it. My return column index, number 2, approximate match no, exact match false. Gives me the right thing, Saturday. So that's it. Saturday. All right, so in case on Monday, uh, on December 1, it's a Thursday, January 1 is Sunday. So it's going in line. So that's fine. We have created our dynamic calendar. Now, the next thing for us to do is we don't want people to be seeing all of this. So we have looked at sequence formula, the date, the time, the conditional formatting, the lookup value. I will give you separate videos on all of that. So what remains now is to hide certain things so that people will not see what we've done. So what I did again, I come to where I want to start my hiding from column J. I'll click on column J. I will hold my Control Shift key, then my right arrow button will highlight all the way to the end of the columns. And I will come here and I'll say Control right click and I will go to hide. So everything to the right has been hidden. And I'll come down here. I also want to hide this. Hide. Good. Everything is now hidden. I don't want to hide this. I want to hide all of this. Control Shift down arrow button, hide. Everything is now hidden. So you are only faced with your calendar. So this is your calendar that is dynamic. So you can save your calendar, and when it opens, it's going to give you the correct date, the correct time, the conditional formatting will be done. You can as well come here and you want all your Sundays and Saturdays to be red. You can color them red. That's not an issue, all right? But this particular formatting stays is giving you black. You can still adjust it if you want to. Let's go to manage rules. Here is going to be it. You are going to edit rule. Okay, format, font color, use automatic. Let's say okay, okay, apply, okay. If you okay, so whenever this date changes, see it is going to give you the red line, the red color there. If it comes here again, maybe one more day, that is how it's formatted to do. We can also give it a different color if we want. Let's see. Let's see another color. Manage rules. Manage rules. It's here. Edit rule. Format. Let's say color. Font color. We can say that we want them to be in purple or in blue, dark blue. All right. Let's see how it's going to look like. That's beautiful. I'm going to give you dark blue. Let me remove one here. Okay, that's beautiful. So let's take it back to today's date. That's beautiful. Beautiful. You can always come here too and reflect that. Okay, no. to reflect that dark blue. That's fine. So we now have our dynamic calendar in Excel. All right, so if this video has been helpful to you in learning the sequence formula, the lookup formulas, the time and date, and conditional formatting, if you like this video, please click the subscribe button and click the notification button to get notifications of any videos that I'll be making for your watching or listening pleasure. Alright, so this is Chima from Go Getter Excel signing out, and I will see you in the next video where we'll be learning some other things that will excite you in Excel. Thank you so much, and see you in the next class.